85% of Michael Jordan autographs submitted to JSA come back as fakes? What? What's going on, sports card hobby family? Another day, another sports card video. We are back again. Today we're going to talk about what I consider to be the most complex part of the sports card, sports memorabilia hobby, and it is autographs. Man, autographs are so popular, whether they're pack pulled, whether they're in person at shows. There's a lot of coolness that comes, especially when you go to a show. I remember going back a couple of years, I met Barry Sanders. I was having a card signed for one of my buddies, and I was able to meet him face to face and get the autograph and that sort of thing. It wasn't for my card, but I was doing it for a friend. But there is something to that experience of kind of meeting one of the heroes, getting the signature. So autographs always been, this is going back decades and decades and decades, always been a popular part of what we do in this hobby. It's awesome. It's really cool kind of to have that connection with the athletes. Even going back to when I was a kid, TTM, where you're sending stuff through the mail. The Beckett magazines had the addresses in them for the stadiums. You could just very easily write a letter to John Elway or whoever it was, and maybe it came back, maybe it didn't, but I remember always checking the mail, and that was something when you're 10 years old. It was amazing to kind of see that self-addressed stamped envelope with your name on it, and that's when you knew that the thing had come back. So autographs, a huge part of the hobby, but authentication of autographs is massively complicated. Whether it's through PSA or Beckett or JSA, all these companies are doing their very best, but there are some slick folks out there that have huge money incentives to get these through. So before we dive in deeper, we've got our Friday shout outs. Card Capsule, you need top of the line supplies, but you don't want to pay a fortune for them. Card Capsule, 10% off your order, 10% off below with the coupon code in the video description. JustCollect.com. You've got a collection, you have no idea what it is worth. Leighton Sheldon over there at JustCollect.com. Easy appraisal form there on the website for you to fill out. So make sure to reach out to JustCollect.com. Also, have you ever graded with PSA? Well, you can start now and you get $25 off your first order. I've, again, got a link down below. SCD25 is the coupon code at the shipping and billing page. SCD25, one card minimum. So really just any order, $25 off your first order to try out PSA. All right, the folks over there at collect.com put this article together. Great article. I thought it was really insightful. 95% of Jordan autos are fake is kind of what they're talking about here, saying that JSA, which again, one of the huge authentication companies in the space, sees a lot of fake Michael Jordan autographs. I feel like this is really relevant because Jordan, you could argue that this guy is really the very, very tippity top of the food chain when it comes to where is the hobby money being spent, whether it's his memorabilia, his signed memorabilia, the game used jerseys, the rookie cards, whatever it is, his 90s inserts, whatever it is, Jordan stuff is dominant in this space. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that there is huge incentive, the same way there is for Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle autographs. If we go back in time to the 80s, 90s, there was a whole FBI sting operation, Operation Bullpen, and specifically a guy was really good at doing Mickey Mantle autographs. Well, Mickey Mantle autographs, of course, very expensive. And then if you go back in time to some of his, jerseys and different things, all that stuff is very expensive. So there is a lot of money at stake for the fraudster. So we'll go to this article. I thought this was really interesting because Upper Deck, going back to 1992, according to this article, they set up a pretty good system. I mean, they have one of the better systems for authentication in place in the industry. Other companies, not so good, not as good. Everything has to be witnessed. There's a tamper-proof hologram. There's a database. There are certifications. The problem, though, is, and this is not anything new, over time we have seen fake Upper Deck holograms and fake certs. So this isn't a brand new thing. Fraudsters have been trying to do this for a while, but one thing that the article mentions too is Upper Deck has used Mitchell and Ness jerseys for Jordan jerseys as part of what gets signed. Well, these are widely available through Fanatics. So what a fraudster can do is they can get kind of what looks to be like what's typically used by Upper Deck, like one of these jerseys. They can create a nice looking certification. Maybe they got a funky little hologram there. They can pass it off on an eBay or maybe even auction houses as being legit. There is a company that started up called GOAT Authentics, really primarily focused around Michael Jordan autograph memorabilia. And these are experts that are coming in and kind of giving another set of eyes to see, like, is that a good hologram? Does that look right? And so if, again, people are spending a ton of money on this stuff. You go back to what Card Porn last year was trying to pass off photo match stuff. I can't remember whatever jersey it was. Was it a Jordan jersey? It might have been a Jordan jersey, I think. Photo match, whatever, trying to do everything they can to pass it through, because if they can get it passed through authentication, the photo matching or autograph authentication, whatever it is, then it carries a massive premium, a absolutely massive premium. And so this here, GOAT Authentics, they're here to try to help with that. But again, there's so much memorabilia and stuff coming through. Ken Golden, I believe, is in this article. They interview him. There's so much stuff going through these auction houses that can stuff slip through the cracks? Can some of this weirdness, this fraudulent stuff, can it find its way into a large auction house? Sure, it can. The auction houses are going to do everything they can to try to stop it. It's bound to happen at some point that something accidentally gets through. And so I guess that's the thing, is don't just assume that if it's at a big auction house that it's all good. They're going to do their best, but this article kind of opens your eyes as there is kind of a buyer beware situation. Be careful still, maybe still kind of do your due diligence, ask around, ask people, hey, does this look good to you? And so these fraudsters, according to this article, they're getting better at this. The auto pens are getting better. They're smartening up. They're looking at, like, okay, what are the actual companies? What's Fanatics using? What's Upper Deck using? Let's try to replicate exactly kind of what they're using, make it look as good as possible. And if it does get through authentication where, it's Beckett Authenticated PSA or whoever it is, or JSA, then they're kind of in the clear. But I guess that's the whole point, is just be mindful, be careful. It doesn't always mean, if it hits a big auction house, doesn't always mean that it's good to go. Make sure to look at it with 5 different sets of eyes if you are spending big money on this stuff. The one thing that Upper Deck said is they are going to update their authentication process here. I think that it's coming this year or next year. One thing that I was thinking of is my wife got a new driver's license. And also I thought about like currency, but going back to the driver's license example, there is all sorts of weird things going on in the background there. There's like a lizard on the side of the thing. There's like 3 different pictures of her face. So you have like her license picture, but then there's like 3 holograms of something else. It is sophisticated, this driver's license. And I almost think that for this, it's kind of similar. Like Upper Deck needs to have a hologram that is just insane. And if customer service at Upper Deck is going to authenticate something, and of course they're doing all this over email or whatever, then they have got to see the hologram. Like we got to see the hologram, match that up with the cert, match it up with the database. But my thing is like, look, redo the hologram and make it insane. Make it just very, very difficult to actually replicate it. I think that would be a great first step just as far as the revamp process goes. Look, I'm not going to pretend like I'm some sort of expert on all of the authentication processes and that sort of a thing, but this is a huge industry now. You look at sports memorabilia, including sports cards, it's grown so rapidly over the last 5 to 7 years. It's starting to really kind of compare to fine art numbers. When you look at these huge paintings that sell, look at the amount of money that, it was Babe Ruth's jersey that just sold for $20+ million, the called shot jersey, photo matched, I believe. Huge dollars on this stuff. And we've seen, I think Heritage, I just reported it going back, a week or 2 ago, Heritage Summer Platinum Auction. It was the largest one they've ever done for sports, I believe. So the market has been growing, and the tech behind the authentication piece, it's just got to continue getting better. Whether we're talking about card grading, whether we're talking about game used, photo matching, it's got to all get better because there is so much money in it for these folks that are trying to slip stuff through that's bogus. All right, my friends, let me know your thoughts on the subject. This article is specifically talking about Jordan, but take that all the way down the line. Your favorite player. And maybe that's the reason why the lines are so long to get these in-person autographs at the National and at these card shows, because you can walk up to Emmitt Smith. You can walk up to Ray Lewis and know that, hey, I just watched this dude sign this helmet or whatever, I don't know, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.